Everybody. Uh, some of you already know me. My name is Dave Razorboy Creel, and I just wanted to take a little bit of your time and just tell you how concerned I am about the direction that this country has been heading over the past several years. Contrary to what most people believe, we do not live in a democracy. Our government was not set up as a democracy. It was set up as a representative republic. Democracy is no more than mob rule. The founding fathers knew that. That's why they established the representative republic that they did. That way, one or two big states with the majority of the population would not determine how the rest of the country would go. The problem we have now is that we have what I like to refer to as the ruling elite, and this encompasses all parties, all political parties, Republican, Democrat. I could tell you Libertarian, but I don't know. I don't know that we have any Libertarians worth mentioning in our government. Perhaps a congressman or two, congressperson or two, excuse me. This ruling elite class has basically, in my mind, determined that we're just so many stupid sheep, incapable of making decisions for ourselves, and that they need to put us where we need to be. Granted, most of these people are career politicians. Almost to a person, they're lawyers. Ask yourself this question: what do lawyers do? Number one, they separate you from your money. Okay, that's what they do best. Whether they're representing you or whether they're prosecuting you, they separate you from your money. That's what they do. They also plea bargain and settle. There's no place for that in government. No place for that at all. We the people elect representatives. Remember, representative republic, folks. We elect representatives to go to D.C. and to represent our wishes, our will. It's not being done. It's not being done at all. I'm not going to single out, and I'm not going to pick on the current administration. I'm sure they're doing the best they can. I think their motive may be a little suspect. That's my personal opinion. This goes back farther than this administration, way back farther. I was explaining something to a younger fellow the other day, one of my customers, and I was explaining to him my thoughts on how we could turn this country around. And he said, "RB, you ought to run for president." I said, "Yeah, right. All those people that thought George W. was such a hick boy, they'd love me, wouldn't they?" But you know, I got thinking about it. I don't have any money. Where, on the contrary, I think almost to a person, or something like 96% of every senator is a millionaire. I'd kind of like to see some figures on how much money they had when they started and how much money they had when they came out. There's got to be a lot of changes made in government, folks. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to go ahead and throw my hat in the ring, and I'm going to lay my platform out for everybody to see. I think I represent a good deal of America with my thoughts. I only want 4 years. I only need 4 years. I refuse to run a second term. That I'd be elected a second term, because I'm going to piss a lot of people off with the way things get done if I'm elected. Now, I'm going to speak to you as if I've been elected, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. So, hang on. Get mad. Remember, if you don't like it, you don't have to vote for me. This is still America. You have a choice. You vote for who you want to, but I want you to see where I'm coming from. Let's start with the deficit. What are we, 1.8 trillion in the hole? Unacceptable. No business would allow a CEO to run them $1.8 trillion in the hole. We need to look at this. We need to look at this thing like a business for a minute, okay? making an awful lot more expenditures than what we've got coming in, and they're printing money in order to pay for all this. You can't print money forever. It becomes worthless. Okay, and I don't expect everybody to understand this, and I don't want to come across like I know more than you do. One of the first changes I'm going to make is that I'm going to make sure that in middle school and in high school, we once again start teaching government or have civics classes, which haven't been a part of the education system, which is something else I'm going to get to that I'm going to change around a little bit too. We haven't had government classes in schools since I went. And I'm going to tell you, that's been a long time. We're talking about probably late 70s, early 80s, but since U.S. government, pick a kid, a high school kid, and ask him what the three branches of government are. Let me know what he tells you. I'd be real interested to see how many you could find in a room that knew the three branches of government. That's not an accident. I feel like they don't want them to know how government works. Because if you don't know how something works, you're certainly not going to question it when something doesn't really look right. Something like pushing a huge, monstrous bill through without giving anybody time to read it. It's just way too important. It's got to be passed through. We need to hurry up. In the words of the Speaker of the House at the time, we need to hurry up and pass this so we can see what's in it. What kind of crap is that? What the hell is the matter with you, Nancy Pelosi? What the hell is wrong with you? Why don't you just go ahead and call us stupid? I digress. Okay, first change we're going to make, I'm going to call every CEO from every American oil company into my office on day one. And I'm going to say, you tell me what you need to get started. We're going to drill in America. We're going to utilize American resources. We've got enough oil in this country, people. We already provide 51% of our oil is domestic oil. Okay, the oil that we use, 51% of it is domestic oil. I believe another 18% comes from Canada. That's the second biggest. We need to go ahead and take care of that other 32% and get that here. I don't mind throwing Canada a bone, and I certainly don't want to alienate Canada. Okay. Without us, Canada would have no health care because they have that nice socialized health care. However, they all come here to get everything done. Figure that out. Okay. We're going to drill in this country. If I have to do it by executive order, we're going to drill in this country. I don't care what it takes. Okay? You don't like it. Wait a minute. Sierra Club? What? What's that you say? It's safer to drill a mile and a half deep in the water? What? Okay. It's like this. We've tried it your way for a long, long time. Okay? What's it done? It's made us dependent upon foreign oil. It's driven the price of oil and the price of gasoline, the finished product, through the roof. We're going to build refineries. We're going to drill. I'd like to see a time like it was back in the early 1900s where people had their own oil well in their backyard, and an oil truck would come around once a week and he would siphon out of that little watering trough looking deal that they were pumping their own crude oil into. They did it all through Pennsylvania, people. The frickin' derricks are still there. Old man would come by, boy, he'd suck that oil out of that thing. He'd give the people $2 or $3, which was big money back then. Thank you, I'll be back next week. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see everybody with an oil well in their backyard, if they wanted one. We need gas below $1 a gallon. And don't tell me that it's take too long to get started. No, it won't. The American people have been convinced that it just takes too long to do this. It takes too long to do that. On the other hand, when there's a crisis, it's got to be done right now. We've got to have this stimulus or the economy will fail. Where's that money? The money is sitting in a frickin' bank somewhere. Sitting in several banks. Nobody's using it. The economy's in a crapper anyway. And we're going to get to that too. Okay, number one, we're going to drill. I'm going to ask CEOs, what do you need? I want no less than, I think we've got 2 working refineries in this country right now. Is that right? We've got 2 working refineries in this country right now. We need at least 6. Okay, I don't want transportation issues there. We need at least 6. And then, you know what, Saudi Arabia? F you. Sell that crap to China. See what kind of deal you get with them. Matter of fact, we won't have any reason to be in the Middle East at all if we don't need oil. That leads us to step 2. I want to pull the troops out of Afghanistan, and I want to pull them out of Iraq immediately. I want those troops. They've still got service time. We're going to go ahead and we'll rotate them out. We're going to give everybody furloughs, let them spend some time with their family, which to me is very important. Then they're going right on our southern border. We've got Mexican army coming across our border into Texas, killing, kidnapping, raping, looting, and just violating the rights of American citizens. And I won't stand for that. We will have a Predator drone program on the border. I will put a bounty. You know what? We may have to play with the legislation a little bit and get it done, move it around some. I'll put a bounty on those drug cartel lords. We'll turn Mexico around while we're fixing our mess. You know, there's an estimated 12 to 20 million illegal aliens in this country right now, and a good part of those are from Mexico and from San Salvador and Honduras, in an area between the Panama Canal and our southern border. Is where they're all coming from. They've left their countries because their countries are crap, people. Now, granted, in the past we may have had a hand in making those countries a little worse than they would have been otherwise. I'm not sure. I'm not certain. I know we propped up some dictators at times. We've done it all around the world. That's why I'm advocating pulling our borders back in. Okay, yeah, we'll keep military bases in Korea. We'll keep military bases in Germany. We'll keep them around the world here and there because we need them here and there. But you know what? As far as being on the ground and support other countries and bringing democracy and freedom to them, screw them. Fight your own war. What the hell are we doing in Libya? Why are we in Libya? It's a civil war. If we start fighting over here, do you think we need France sticking their nose in what we've got going on here? It's the same thing. We've got no business in Libya. Yeah, Gaddafi's an a-hole. Everybody knows that. He always has been. Ronald Reagan tried to drop bombs on a man's house trying to kill him. He's such an a-hole. We know that. We know what he's about. We've got no business over there. Pull out of the Middle East. Make our own oil here. Get our own oil here. Drill it here. We've got Alaska. They've got big oil finds in Montana, North Dakota, up that way. They've got new technology that makes it affordable to get it out of the ground. I want 99 cents or less a gallon gasoline in this country. And I don't want to hear any crap from the EPA. I don't want to hear any crap out of Greenpeace. I don't want to hear any crap out of the Sierra Club. Shut up. We've done it your way. We've done it your way for nearly 50 freaking years, and look what it's gotten us. Gotten us nothing. We can't drill in the Gulf. No, there's a moratorium on American drilling. But guess what? China's drilling in the Gulf. Vietnam. Even Vietnam has derricks in the Gulf. Cuba is drilling in the Gulf. Don't forget our buddy in Venezuela. He's eating it up. He's down there. He's there, boy. And do you think their safety procedures are anywhere near as stringent as ours were? You not hearing anything about that? What if one of those people springs a leak? What's going to happen? We can put a moratorium on them drilling in the Gulf? No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push the international waters out. The Gulf's going to be ours. We'll go ahead and allow like 6 miles, 7 miles out for everybody in the northern part of South American continent. Yeah, you can have that much. But the rest of it is ours. We accomplish most of it anyway. Well, that with Mexico. Mexico can't guard shit. They can't keep their people in. Can't keep people from coming out of the country. We got to look at it a whole new way. You know, this whole hope and change thing, where we were asked to, you know, Americans may have to sacrifice. No, we shouldn't have to sacrifice. You know why employment's up in some sectors, people? It's because of the federal government. In the private sector, new employment is down 7%. In government jobs, it's up 8%. You're going to hit a point to where you don't have enough horse to pull everybody riding in the wagon. Okay? Government is way too big. I'm sorry. Under my administration, redundancy in departments, not going to be allowed. Where you've got a State Department let's say a State Department of Education, for instance. You don't need U.S. Department of Education. You don't need it. Same thing with U.S. Forestry Service, Department of Forestry, whatever you want to call it. If you've got a State Forestry Department, you don't need that. The national one needs to go. The federal one needs to go. Now you may say, RB, well, what about those poor people that work for all these? I'm sorry, get a real job. There's going to be more work to do in those state departments that you already occupy. Your office right next to theirs in most cases. Put an application in there. If you're better than the people working there, they'll hire you. Because employers want the best people. They want the best people. Now, if you're somebody who's got a great record and really knows your stuff and does good work, you won't have any problem getting a job. But you know what? If you're somebody that came in and hit a time clock and set your lazy ass at a desk for 8 hours a day, looking at the computer, Facebook, MySpace, whatever, you may not get a job. You may not get one. Good news is the economy is going to be booming with this 99-cent a gallon gasoline because it's going to give everybody else, it's going to give everybody in every household expendable cash. So Burger King will be jumping. The retail sales field will be jumping. It's going to be plenty of work for everybody. It may not be what you were given by Uncle Sam, but the opportunity to work will be there. You got to trust me on this. I'm also going to bring back manufacturing into this country. Manufacturing went overseas mainly because of two reasons: EPA and high costs due to the unions. Now, I know a lot of you don't like it because I know there's a lot of people out there that just think the union's the best thing in the world, but you know what? In the workplace, the union's only 18% of the working population. 10% of that is in state and federal government. It's only 8% in private industry. It seems to me like 8% of the people ought to be dictating what happens to the other 92. So what I'm going to advocate is that we do away with that act that was passed back in 1911 that made it mandatory for private business owners to allow unions to come in. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to advocate a right to work state in every state, just like we have here in good old Virginia. If you want to belong to a union, you can belong to one. If you don't have to. And you know what? That's going to let the employer decide what they'd rather have, because being as they're the one footing the bill, I think it's their money. They should decide what kind of workforce they want. And you know what? Oh, you think, RB, you're heartless, you're stupid, you don't know what the hell you're. Yes, I do know what I'm talking about. I do know that I don't want the extra money that I get per hour if I'm in a union. Let me give you an example. Okay, I drive for a living. If I was a Teamster, I'd probably get $3 or $4 more an hour. But you know what? $3 or $4 more an hour, those $3 or $4 more is going straight to the union. Where in the hell's that money going? It's going to my retirement? Wrong. It's going to make better working conditions? Wrong. What it's doing is it's going to support people, the ruling elite class. Professional politicians love union money. Why do you think unions are getting a waiver on these new health care things? Because they propped up the president. Well, should be a right to work, okay? At any rate, getting back to what I was saying, that and the EPA standards. EPA standards, yeah, everybody wants a clean environment. Sure we do. We want clean air, we want clean water. But I'm going to do everything in my power, even if I have to do it by executive order, to make sure that industry can survive in this country. That, yeah, we can mine the natural resources that we have, the steel, the iron ore, like we used to. We're going to put Americans back to work. What about China, you say? Well, China, you know what? Yeah, it's been nice doing business with you. Yeah, we owe you a bunch of money, but you know, there was this little thing back about 60 years ago, 65 years ago now, I guess, called World War II, where we kicked the living crap out of Japan and pretty much made it possible for China to exist after Japan's army was defeated. So why don't we just call it even? I don't think we ever got a dime for that. Spent a lot of blood and treasure over there, just like we spend in places now we shouldn't be in. So why don't we take all that money that we owe you, and we just call it even. And don't worry, you can always sell that crap that you sell to Walmart. I'm sure Europe would love to have it. We're going to make our own here. We're going to make our own cheap plastic crap here. But the difference is our cheap plastic crap will last 5 years where yours won't get home half the time. It's about America. This one world thing, one worlders, I got news for you. Ain't going to work. It's kind of like where you got some stupid kids in the class. So instead of working with them and helping them get smarter, what you do is you dumb down the rest of the class so everybody's equal. It's the same thing that one worlders want to do with the world. They want everybody impoverished in this world. Because the ruling class knows that you're more easily manipulated when you're hungry, when you don't have a place to stay, when you're cold. Let's say something like smart grid where they can turn your power off in your house individually. And how American is that? I pay for electricity. They think I'm using too much. They're gonna cut mine off. Well, it's for the overall good of everybody, RB. No, yeah, in a socialist environment it might be. We're a capitalist country, people. We always have been. The reason we're in the crapper now is because past 3 years or so, we've been moved away from capitalism. They've tried to convince us it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's what made America, America, folks. It's what I want to see America doing again. America used to be the leader in the world. Look at what's going on since we're no longer a world leader. We're not a world leader, people. We are not a world leader. We have, as a country, run around over the past 2 years and kissed every ass we could kiss and apologized for crap that either we did or did not even do to suit that hate America crowd. We're the reason the world is the way it is. No, we're not. What we are is a guy that has helped more countries on more occasions than anybody in the history of the world. We've sent more dollars, we've sent more support, we've sent more food, we've sent more technology, we've sent more education. We've sent more everything to every country than anybody ever has or is ever likely to. And you know what? They still hate us. They hate us because we're us. What's wrong with that picture? That's why I say bring the troops on. They don't want us in the Middle East. They don't want us there. I'm not even sure Israel wants us there, and Israel's a good ally. We've totally dissed Israel. We've thrown Israel to the wolves. I will guarantee you that if Egypt invades Israel, we'll be on Egypt's side. We were all behind this democratic revolution in Egypt. And who's in charge? The Muslim Brotherhood. Same people who killed Anwar Sadat. Now, granted, Sadat was probably put in there by us to keep the peace, and Mubarak was installed probably by us to keep the peace. But you know what? You're talking about a 30, 40-year span where there wasn't any problems with Egypt worldwide. But you know what? None of that. We shouldn't even be over there anyway. Come out of there. You know, bring our troops out of there. They want it. They can have it. They can hate us from over there. I don't care. But you know what? The first time one of them comes over here and blows something up in this country, when I find out what country he's from, that country's going to get carpet bombed for a solid week. Well, that's not fair, RB. Well, okay. Neither is butchering the whole family in Gaza. It's not fair either, but it was done. But RB, they were squatters. No, they weren't. That land has always been Israel's. See, too many people rely too heavily upon the media for their information. You can't do that. You cannot do that. Everybody's got internet access. Go on the internet. Look through it. You determine the truth. Now, granted, if you're a product of the public school system, you may not know how to do that. It's just so much easier just to let somebody tell you what the truth is. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you what the truth is. The truth is, America can be great again, and it can be great again in 4 years. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to do it. I'm going to take a major crack at doing it. I'll tell you what, I'll either do it or I'll pave the way for the next guy, because like I said, I will not run a second term. I'm going to spend all 4 years concentrated on fixing the problems that we have. Income tax. How'd you like to see the federal income tax system go away as we know it? I can take care of that for you. You know how? We have to figure up exactly what a proper rate is. I'm thinking 3 cents on the dollar. Retail, federal sales tax. Boom. Everybody's paying it. Knucklehead buying that grape blunt that will never pay a tax dollar in his life, he's going to pay his percentage on that blunt right there at the cash register. Crack hoe, chicken head, she going to pay it. Drug dealer, he's going to pay it. Millionaire buying a $500,000 boat, he's going to pay it. The more you buy, the more you pay. It's fair. Everybody's paying. Instead of 3% of the people paying their taxes, and a huge majority of the population getting a refund, not even paying any taxes. How fair is that? That's wealth redistribution, and that's unfair. It's not right. It's not what this country is about. But RB, there's disadvantaged people. Okay, we want to help you. We want to show you how to become advantaged. See, I don't believe, like certain segments of our current government believe, that you're too stupid, or you're too ignorant, or you're unable to take care of yourself. I believe you are. I believe in each and every American. I believe each and every American should have a right to prove, or a right to try, or a right to fail being self-sufficient. I believe that you can do it. I'm not going to be so presumptive and arrogant to tell you that you're too stupid to take care of yourself. You're too stupid to be it. You'll never be able to do that. That's wrong. That is wrong. I want to help you. I want to give you everything you need to become a millionaire, a billionaire. But I'm not going to take care of it. And the government shouldn't have to take care of it. If you're not mentally or physically disabled to the point to where you can't earn some kind of income, you need to be at work. And there's going to be plenty of work. There'll be plenty of work. Oh, Congress, you're on notice, because the first thing I'm going to do in reference to trimming back government overhead, we're going to meet. Congress is going to come into session twice a year or 3 times a year. We'll iron that out, okay? But you know what? We're not going to pay for you to have 2 houses. That's freaking ridiculous. Most of you own the house that you live in D.C. and you rent the one in the area you represent. What is wrong with that picture? Okay? That's going to stop. Live where your constituents are, and if I need you in D.C. other than those 3 times a year for when Congress is in session, I'll send for you and I'll pay your airfare. I'm also not going to pay for your frickin' vacations, okay? Or your congressional investigatory junkets. No, we're not paying for that anymore. We're not paying for it. Pay for it. If you want to go on vacation, do like I do. Pay for it your damn self. We're not paying for it. It's ridiculous. The cost that you people, when I say you people, I'm talking about the Congress and the Senate, the cost that you people incur and expect us to pay for, freaking ridiculous. I'd take your credit cards away from you. If I thought I'd get away with it, I'd take them away right now. or be given an allowance. And another thing too, we're going to change this legislation around. It's my understanding. Now, I'm not a highly educated guy. Okay, I mean I do read a lot. It, what is this crap with that you can't be prosecuted for insider trading if you're in Congress or in the Senate, like anybody else could be? Maybe that's why everybody comes out of there a millionaire. That crap's going to stop. Tell you another thing too. All these lobbyists that are hanging around. Well, let them go hang around your neighborhood and around where your constituents can keep an eye on you and see what you're doing. The people that you're supposed to be representing. Okay. I'm going to ban lobbyists from D.C. I don't want them in there. Special interest crap. That's why all you people. That's why all this ruling elite continues to get richer and richer. Insider trading. You know what's coming up. You know what the deal's going to be before anybody else does, and you can buy all the shares of this and that you want to. How is that right? And somewhere along the way, it's costing the taxpayers money what you're doing. You people need to. A very wise man had a phrase, and I'm going to use it right now. You people in Congress and in the Senate, y'all need to check yourselves before you wreck yourselves, okay? Because I assure you one thing, when I'm president, the first one of y'all that steps out of line and does something dirty like that, I'm going to see to it that it is all over every news channel. Your picture, and it's going to stay on for a solid 48 hours. That's going to be the story. I'm going to see to it. If I have to, I'll put big screens up all over D.C. where everybody can watch it from the road, but they're going to see, and it's going to be closed captions, so they don't even have to have sound. They're going to see what kind of dirty crap you did to the taxpayers. And I don't care what party you're in. It's going to stop. It's a representative republic, not a frickin' country club. I'm going to set up a news conference on Facebook, and I will take questions, and I'll be a question and answer thing. I'm going to set it up, and you people can ask me about, we'll get into it further as we go along. I've got a lot of policy. When I think of something that I haven't discussed here, we'll come back to you and we'll get with you. It's time for, enough is enough. That's my slogan, RB 2012.